Hi everybody, welcome to Afterburner. I'm Bill Whittle. Well, I was in Texas for Thanksgiving this year. I flew in from Los Angeles, and it's always such a pleasure to visit the United States of America. I was raised there as a boy myself. First of all, I was the guest of the kind of family that you would get notes on in a Hollywood screenplay as being not believable. A 6'4", hard-working dad with the best natural sense of humor I've ever seen, without the usual self-loathing that's behind so much professional comedy these days. A bright, adorable, happy mom. Kids that write love notes to their parents on their 20th anniversary, or studying to become electrical engineers and running a toy pledge drive for the homeless for Christmas. I mean, guys, you've got to greenlight this thing. You just can't make this kind of stuff up. And being Texas, everyone had their own guns and everyone knew how to use them and everyone took it seriously and had fun at the same time. And no one was angry or neurotic, and I felt the way I always do when I visit a deeply but quietly religious family, that I'd been transported to the kingdom of the elves, where everything just works better. Where everyone works and everyone does chores and all the bills are paid and they look forward to being together and no one seems to be in great danger of jumping off of a bridge or being on antidepressants or blowing all of their money in Reno or making 4 simultaneous alimony payments or any of the other occupational hazards in the world that I come from. So that shook me. But here's what really got me. I knew we were going to go skeet shooting. I was looking forward to that a lot. I haven't had a lot of time doing it, and the only thing more satisfying to the male ego than being able to build a good fire is the feeling of pulling a trigger, feeling that thud in your shoulder, and watching a a hunter orange, environmentally safe, non-toxic, edible, biodegradable pigeon explode in midair. I would have gotten more of them, but they obviously loaded my shotgun with blanks to get a cheap laugh out of their visiting Yankee city slicker, which is okay, that's fine. I don't have any particular problem with that. But we didn't go to a shooting range. Where did we go, you might ask? Well, we went to the backyard, right down by the river. We just set up the launcher and blasted away on private property in a neighborhood with other houses within view and earshot. And no one complained, and the police didn't come, and there wasn't a city ordinance prohibiting it. And I wasn't required to sign a release or take a shotgun safety course. And some people chose not to wear ear protection, and the men were not required by law to shoot no more than the women shot. Dogs without leashes were present. I was not required to use OSHA-approved safety goggles. Impressionable children were present who, parenthetically, outshot the adults and hogged all of the rounds more properly reserved for visiting internet celebrities from California. Diversity was celebrated, but only in the sense that there were Texans who could hit skeet and those visiting from out of state. We did not have to take a quick customer service survey. My ID was not checked. I was in the presence of secondhand shotgun smoke, and it didn't cost me anything, except for my self-respect, obviously. Now that night, Thanksgiving night, we went out into the backyard where there was a pile of cleared brush about the size of a Buick, and we lit a bonfire. We used sensible Texan diesel fuel to get it started because Hollywood gasoline just makes a big flash of light and doesn't actually, start damp wood burning. So there I stood in the 33-degree Texas evening, and once again I had that thought that I'd had again and again and again the entire trip. I can't believe they let you do that. Texans, apparently, think you should be allowed to start a bonfire in your own backyard. Presumably, Texans think that if in the process you burn your house to the ground, well then maybe Texas isn't for you. Now, on the other hand, just down the street in the People's Republic of Santa Monica, well, there's not any kind of fires allowed on the beach. I have to tell you, folks, I've lived here for a third of my life now, and I don't think even progressive Californians are stupid enough to know how to set fire to a beach. No, not here. Not where I come from. No fires, no parking. All animals must be on a leash. No photography. Camping not permitted. No lifeguard on duty. Penalties will apply. Permit required. It's a gun-free zone. Noise ordinance enforced. Fly quietly. Minimum altitude 1,000 feet. No ATVs. Personal watercraft prohibited. Wake limits strictly enforced. Plastic bags no longer available. Tow-away zone. Fishing permit required. Environmentally sensitive area. No dogs allowed. Se habla espanol. The entire state now is a fun-free zone, and violators will be prosecuted. You know, I was in Texas back in 2009, and I was killing time in a tiny little train depot. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a sign posted there for the railway workers, and it almost knocked the wind out of me. It said, "You have the right and the obligation to work safely." Say what now? I have the right to work safely. Who can argue with that? But the obligation? Are you telling me that in Texas, and who knows, maybe there are other parts of America that still shock me for being a free country, are you telling me that in Texas there's an equal obligation on the part of the worker or the citizen to not be a flaming jackass? I can't believe they let you do that. 2 days after I took that picture, that was 4 years ago, remember, I was back in California walking into a typical apartment building in Studio City. And because I'd been thinking about that sign, I noticed something that had been hiding in plain sight in front of me the whole time. Every single building in Los Angeles has one of these. Every apartment complex, every gas station, 7-Eleven restaurant, every single building. It says, detectable amounts of chemicals known to the state of California to cause cancer and birth defects or other reproductive harm are or may be found in or around this facility, including tobacco smoke, chemicals found in construction materials, chemicals found in automotive fumes and exhausts, chemicals used to clean swimming pools, spas, hot tubs, and chemicals used in pesticides for weed and pest control. We Californians, with our vast moral superiority over the low-sloping, forehead, knuckle-dragging Neanderthals out there in Texas and the rest of flyover country, have, through the grace of our enlightened legislature, required by law a sign on every single building in the state saying that if you force 40 gallons of Formula 409 a day into a rabbit for 2 years, a statistical increase in cancers has been detected. So, now that there are warning signs saying that there is car exhaust present in or around this facility, we simply ignore the warning signs, or we just filter them out. They won't let us do anything here. Oh, who is they, by the way? Well, you know, the small-minded, feral, spiritually atrophied bureaucrats whom my idol P.G. O'Rourke described as the student council weenies. People who get sexual pleasure, apparently, out of telling other people what to do. California, once a paradise of freedom, creativity, harebrained schemes like personal computers, and fun, has allowed these genetic defectives to run what was once the 5th biggest economy in the world into the ground, and to do for real what the puny San Andreas Fault couldn't do in its wildest dreams: push California into the ocean. You know, it wouldn't take but 20 Texans with AR-15s to conquer all of California. You could even load them with blanks like you did that shotgun you guys handed me. Just the sight of a black rifle like the one I own makes most of these people puke in their Priuses. And I'd like to remind my new freedom-loving Texas overlords that as a trusted media personality, I can be useful in rounding up other Californians to serve in their underground fireworks factories. Whoa, hang on, whoa, come back, I forgot something, come back for a second. All of you California liberals who voted for all of these job-killing policies are now driving east on Interstate 10 to catch up with the jobs that you chased out of the state in the first place. Don't mess with Texas.